Spags, it's Friday, and our battles in the Superflex draft streets must continue.
We have to go head-to-head, guys. It's all we know how to do now, so we are ready to go. You can see it on the screen. Pete and I are ready in a draft room for the big board Superflex. 20 rounds of us going head-to-head. You can look forward to it. The Versus is on the screen. It's officially official. One spot left in this one. And Pete, any exciting news items for you? We've had the Odell signing. I feel like Saquon with the franchise tag, not wanting to sign that is the only news item that's really stood out to me this week. But anything noteworthy to you? I guess maybe some Bryce Young Panthers talk.
Yeah, I feel like nothing that has, flipped the board on its head. God fucking damn it. Another 1-8.
Pete's at the 1-8. I'm at the 1-12. So we are going to be drafting some teams without Josh Allen, without Jalen Hurts, without any top 5 QBs.
You know what? I will say though, I went on a show last night, the SGPN. They have a show called Heroes and Villains, and they were drafting teams, and I got the 103, and it was the first time. So I did finally break my seal in getting an elite quarterback, but around these parts, Spags, that doesn't happen.
No, Pete is, are you still completely, I guess, over defeated in terms of getting the 101? You've not gotten a single 101 yet?
No. Yeah. 103 was my highest. And then before that, I think 107 was my highest.
I've gotten a few 101s, so I can't complain. I think I've done now 12 drafts, including the ones on stream. Not as crazy about the Superflex format as I am the normal big board, but I think I've had a perfectly reasonable amount of 101s, so I don't share your complaint.
Yeah, enjoy it. Like I said, I have been exclusively not only a fast draft maxi for Superflex, but exclusively an on-stream fast draft maxi. I have not drafted a Superflex team that hasn't been streamed in some capacity.
I'm sure people are excited. Of course, if you have been not catching our last few episodes, we are, in fact, according to the public vote, 2-2-1 in our head-to-head draft. So a nice, even-keeled battle going to this one. Though, admittedly, our last stream on Tuesday, I would say cut it a little bit close, Pete. But today, I'm ready to build some stacks. I'm not going to defiantly snipe some picks from you. I think I'm in the right headspace for this draft today.
I do want to unpack that a little bit, because you have done a lot of editorializing when you read off my team. And there have been, I don't know if you know, but even maybe a former president right now, the laundry list, of his indictments included election fraud. And I do just want to know that I see you kind of tampering with the results in the same way that maybe the one Mr. Donald Trump did. So I just want you to know you're on thin ice.
I mean, I think, good news, Pete, is you have your own YouTube channel. So if you want to go on there too, you can have fair and balanced content going against my takes. And that's the kind of checks and balances we like in America. I'm on the clock though. Elite QBs are not on the board. So I know how chalky the Tyreek start is with Tua, but I don't do it often because of how chalky it is. So look at my stack, Pete. Tyreek Hill, Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, the chalk stack from the 112-2-1. Congratulations. You stumbled upon the idea that everyone else had as well.
But it feels safe, feels cozy. Bolek saying my facial hair is looking good today. I agree. Also, Pete, a fun news item. You want to guess who is now the owner of the #2 most read fantasy article in the history of footballoutsiders.com, a site that's been around 20 years.
Aaron Schatz has both the first and the second.
No, it is in fact me with my most undervalued players article that came out this week. I was shocked to see it, Pete, but it's good to know I still got the juice in my old fingers, even though my mouth's doing the work these days.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's see here. Do I capitulate to big quarterback with Dak Prescott?
No, dig your heels in. Dak's not worth it.
You're right. I don't have a JT Jefferson combo. Screw it.
All right. I love it. So we're seeing some different builds. I did a pretty chalky one, again, as Pete talked about, that 12, 13 spot. People love taking Tyreek and Tua there. And you're showing, like, you could build a super team here. I feel like if you could have gotten Jefferson and Kupp or Chase, that would have been nicer. But Jefferson and Taylor's pretty nice, too.
Let me see here. Yeah, I think, man, I'm at peace with my decision. You know what? I'm just going to commit to the bit. If I'm going to go on this non-elite quarterback tirade, I got to stay consistent here. I was really hoping Jamar Chase would fall to me. I feel like Jefferson Chase would be a very, very fun start, but I've done a ton of Kupp. I feel like I have a bunch of like Kupp CMC stuff, so it was nice to get a Jefferson share at least.
Yeah, I've got Jefferson, Kelsey in a few, which I think feels pretty nice. Like I've gotten some that are unique, but I think two top receivers feels hard to get. I feel like I'm still part of me wants to see those super teams, like because this is the only shot you have to have Jefferson and Chase, Jefferson and Cup, Jefferson and Kelsey. So I still find those kind of appealing. It's just if the room runs heavy on QB, Pete, before you get back, it's going to start to get a little ugly for you.
Right. That's why I do think it's even from where I'm going, it's a little less dangerous to, play chicken with quarterback just because I have a little more time in between picks or less time, I should say. Whereas you on the book end, you could be subjected to a massive run there.
I will say today I did one super flex draft before the show. I drafted only 2 QBs there. Used the early draft capital. I think I took Daniel Jones and somebody else who was good. I'm trying to think who it was. Oh, Justin Fields and Daniel Jones. And I was like, okay, I'm done at QB. I do think that's a build that I feel better about. Like I've been forcing a lot of 3 QB builds just because it is super flex. And obviously you want to get a QB into 2 spots if you can. But I feel like if you do a 2 QB build, I think it works. Maybe not with your draft capital, but in general.
Can I point out how deranged it is that you said I took Daniel Jones and someone else good, that you led with Daniel Jones and not Justin Fields? I mean, what is wrong with you?
The irony too is I triple stacked Fields in that one too. I went Komet, Moore, and Mooney in that one. So I really, if you could triple stack Justin Fields, a man who is a terrible passer, a great runner, you got to do it.
Did you see this, Spags? I single-handedly recruited a viewer. David tagged me in the ship chasing channel, said I was in a draft with him, and I said, "Hey, brother, we're streaming this over on Splash Play." And lo and behold, this is how you do it. You go door to door to get your viewers, Spags.
I love it. I mean, that's, it's worked well for Jehovah's Witnesses over the years. And I feel like now we can go door to door, knock on doors, and one by one, we'll get people to those 2,000 subs we're looking for in this channel, which we're marching towards getting closer day by day. And Pete, we don't phone it in. We keep drafting. Doesn't matter what time of year, we keep drafting on the show. And I think it's made us 2 of the best drafters in the world.
Yeah, and Spags, I'm glad you mentioned this. We are starting our own version of Jehovah Witnesses. We still don't celebrate birthdays, but we do draft best ball teams. That is kind of the spin on that. Also, Spags, I just want you to know, if you were in my shoes right now, you would take Jalen Waddle purely as a spite pick, purely to not let your dear friend get that premium double stack. But I am not that, Spags. That is not how I play. And so I am going to make a very level-headed decision. I'm looking at the quarterbacks coming back here, seeing what I might want to do. I'm going to grab my guy, Breece Hall, and we're going to continue to see what you donkeys do at the end of the board with these QBs.
I still think somebody's going to scoop Waddle for me, but we'll see. I mean, definitely some nice QB picks left, as you can see. Keeping the draft board up, we have Rodgers, Goff, Geno, Russell Wilson on the board, Derek Carr. Somebody can take that Olave Carr duo if they want. So that guy takes Waddle. So you did the kindness, and then this guy takes Olave. So all the nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I tried to do it myself.
Yeah, that's
Bullock, let me school our favorite 16-year-old Canadian viewer. Yes, the Jehovah Witnesses don't celebrate birthdays. They don't celebrate any holidays, certainly no Halloween, none of that stuff. They just raw dog it through life, dude. Every day is the same.
Every day is the same. Yeah, that's how it feels when you have a baby, too. All right, I'm going to reach for receiver a little bit here just because I would have liked to have gotten Carr and Olave together. That's not happening. So I'm going to take T. Higgins and I'm going to take Devonta Smith and get 2 of the best number 2 options in the league. And as Team Pete, no running backs yet, but I like the way it's coming along.
Nice I used to think you're a little bit of a running back piggy with some of your drafts. So nice to see the brand is getting firmly reestablished as a 0 RB, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I have to show people what they want. I know people want me to not be taking running backs early. They want me to not take too many QBs early. So at the end of the day, what brought people to the channel, Pete, was me with reckless abandon, really, drafting 0 RB teams last summer. And it worked out more often than not, I have to admit. Like, I don't know why I'm getting away from 0 RB this year because I had great results last year.
I was going to say too, and I've been starting to look into some of the advance rate data. Hayden Winks tweeted something out the other day. I've been working on it with Dubner for a video, and like 0 RB just absolutely smashed last year. So yeah, if you had a heavy 0 RB portfolio, you were definitely happy with that. Curious to see what Mr. D's does here. I was considering taking Aaron Rodgers at that pick. And I didn't even think there was any chance he was going to come back. I thought maybe I would get Carr or Geno. But yeah, I'm happy to take Rodgers here and build out this presumed Jets bet with Breece Hall.
I like that. I mean, certainly Brees Hall, not a known pass catcher, but certainly gonna have a little correlation there. And if nothing else, you're getting a share of a team that I think people don't realize still a top 10 Super Bowl favorite according to a lot of the Vegas odds out there. So I think it's possible. And the Aaron Rodgers trade dragging on this long though, like if it doesn't end by the NFL draft, like are we still assuming it's going to happen at some point?
Yeah, it just seems like everyone's trapped into this situation, right? Like the Packers don't want Rodgers back, the Jets want Rodgers. Rodgers doesn't have any other places he can really go right now. I guess maybe like the 49ers would be like, should we just like make this happen? By Sam Bradford? I don't know. It just seems like it's going to happen and it's just when, not if. I guess here's the question for you. Do you think we are getting a discount relative to the uncertainty? Do you think his ADP will jump up at all once that's firmed up? Or do you think this is exactly where he's going to go when it's confirmed?
You're probably getting a minor discount because it feels like people are excited about the idea of him being on the Jets, I think. So I would say he probably goes closer to Kirk Cousins, maybe. Especially when you count, the Garrett Wilson drafter who's going to want to stack him up potentially. So yeah, I think maybe he goes between Cousins and Goff would be my thought, but that's not that much of a jump up that I feel like it's, you're getting a bad value right now.
I think I agree with you. I think he'll go up a spot or two, but nothing too crazy there.
Yeah, and I think it's fair for him to go up a spot or two because again, it's a team that has a good defense that was like really great last year at defending the long ball, which I think is important because if you're keeping stuff in front of you, you just have a better shot. But I think it's still a good spot for him, and I think it's going to go up not a crazy amount, but enough that you'll notice it. Bryce Young goes, are you buying him to the Panthers stuff? There was something too I saw on Twitter today that a former Underdog employee, Josh McCown, or I guess contractor, was only following Bryce Young. Then people caught wind of it on Twitter, and then he followed the other three top QBs as well. So it looked a little bit less suspicious. But it does seem like Bryce Young and the Texans are in some weird, or the Panthers and the Texans over Bryce Young are in some weird standoff. And I'm now not as confident as I was that it's CJ Stroud to Carolina.
Yeah, it's an interesting one there. It seems like the consensus is like Bryce Young's going to go 101, or be at least be the first quarterback off the board. So I assume that means 101. I don't know though. Do you think the Texans like would really trade up from 2-1 to ensure that they got him, that they'd be that afraid of getting stuck with Stroud?
I don't know. I mean, they're a weird team. And also, I think it's been pointed out that Nick Caserio, the GM, has not drafted a QB early. And even I think in the New England days as well, when he had some front office say, they only drafted Jimmy Garoppolo as their highest QB. So it's like he hasn't done that before. I don't know. But the dumb teams doing dumb things, I feel like wouldn't be surprising. But you're on the clock.
Yeah. I'm taking Deebo Samuel. I thought about taking Stroud. He gets snap picked. But I don't know, man. I'm just not as excited about Stroud. For fantasy, I think I prefer Bryce Young. I prefer Anthony Richardson. I'm just not getting the Stroud stuff.
He's the best deep ball thrower in the draft. Like he's a pocket passer. He's a guy that's going to get it downfield. Like I think I get Bryce Young. I get people like him from the football sense because he's going to protect the ball a little better, I think, and probably be more of a leader in the way that a lot of these NFL teams want. But Stroud is just such a slinger that I think it's a mistake to not like Stroud. If you don't have shares of Stroud, I'm sure you have some, but like you should.
No, I do. And I'm not overconfident in my like QB takes. I've been mixing them in, but I'm just, my personal preference. And I do think like we know how important good wide receiver play is to quarterback production. And I do think there's a bit of a halo effect for CJ Stroud with what great wide receivers he played with at Ohio State. So I don't know. I think he had the perfect setup to succeed. And so I'm not convinced he is the best quarterback selection there.
So people could see on the screen me struggling. I almost want to take Trey Lance. I was going to take Trey Lance and Kittle together, but that doesn't appeal to me enough. I hate Najee Harris so much. I can't get over that. Got to get one share at some point. I'll take Najee Harris.
Wow. You just lost this draft. I swear to God, if anyone in this chat votes for Chris Spags, who just took Najee Harris
at a discount,
God. How much of a discount? Oh, get out of here. That's not even a value hound. That's not even a whimper. That's a cry for help.
I still believe that Najee can have some theoretical upside because I think Pittsburgh's going to be better. I still am not clicking Najee often. I don't know. I was Kittle and Lance over Watson and Harris. I don't know that that's like that much better.
Real quick to answer Neil's question, how were you defining the archetypes? Like, how do you define zero RB? So when Dubner and I were doing we're doing our videos last year, we did no running back in the first 5 rounds, and I've seen some people do 4, some people do 6, but we used 5. All right, it's you're not gonna believe what I'm gonna do with this this next pick.
Oh, let me guess. Okay.
He has an incredible hairline. He's going to be throwing passes to sweet Deebo Samuel.
He's going to be throwing passes.
I kind of want. Oh, thank you. I was honestly kind of rooting for him to take Trey Lance so I could just take Jimmy Garoppolo instead. Thank you.
I think Jimmy is a solid player. I don't mind Jimmy as much. I would say, honestly, relative to what we worry about with the Niners, I think Jimmy's a better pick than Trey Lance currently.
No.
Just with the risk, like the fact that there's
enough
bad wins.
We're talking about risk, Spags. Have you looked at this payout structure? No risk it, no biscuit. Come on.
I suppose. I think you've also pushed like the Tennessee thing enough to me that I feel like I've kind of thought that's a nice move that could happen at some point on draft day.
Right. I mean, that's like, obviously you would rather have him in a Shanahan offense with all those weapons, but it is like an additional out, right? Because the risk with Lance, right, is that he's not playing, that he's not starting. So if he goes to Tennessee, I mean, I would be pretty surprised if he wasn't, playing a full season.
So I have to ask, so I took Najee there, and Bullock seems like he's on board with me taking Najee as a contrarian play in terms of the guys that I'm aligning him with. Would you prefer Miles Sanders over Najee? Because I think that's close. I just feel like Najee was a value at this point, and Sanders, ADP wise, I think Sanders is like probably about right with where he should be.
I mean, I think Najee's ADP is still like a little rich. I still think just straight up, yeah, give me Najee. But there's a pretty big gap. Like in the regular big boards, what is it? Like a 3-round gap between their ADPs? It's like 4th round Najee, 7th round Sanders.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely gotten a lot smaller in the big board. The big board does seem like it's kind of course corrected some of the guys that were a little bit low due to their free agency uncertainty in the regular big board. I don't know. I feel like Najee still, they treated him like a bell cow last year. I don't like him, but he's too cheap. Like I would take Najee over Dalvin Cook. I know Dalvin's kind of picked up some steam, but I think Dalvin gets cut and Najee's going to be there, whether he loses more work to Jaylen Warren or not. Like he's going to be there.
What do you think about this team from the one hole? Really interesting strat. First, for 3 rounds, I was like fully on board. Then you did the Spags thing where you are taking 2 more quarterbacks, and then he double taps Kittle and Pitts with no running backs through 7 rounds.
It's a ballsy play. Jordan Love feels a little bit early to me too. I don't know, but
yeah.
I don't love the way the team is shaped up because I also don't love CeeDee Lamb. I think Garrett Wilson's a little bit overvalued perhaps. And then Kyle Pitts, who we struggle a lot with here. Kittle's a nice value, but I think Pitts, to me, he's not drafting in a way where he's like drafting for needs at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's see. What am I going to do here? I ain't clicking Brock Purdy 2 picks ahead of ADP. That would destroy the personal brand.
Unstacked Brock. I guess you do have Debo. Never mind. I also have not taken Debo at all, I think, in any draft this year because I had so much of him last year and I fucking hated it.
Yeah, that was the double whammy of having a bunch of Deebo Samuel at the expense of not selecting Tyreek Hill was the toughest of scenes where they were going in drafts.
Yeah, and I just think, too, it's going to get worse for Debo, like the McCaffrey thing, a full year of him. It's Ayuk being better. Like there's a chance they have another wide receiver 3 who's got some value that they either draft or I don't know. A lot of ways to go poorly. I'm on the clock though. I do need a second QB, I think. So I'm not going to take Brock Purdy. I'm going to take Desmond Ridder over him. And I have one more pick here due to having the turn. Got a 2-1-4-0 right now. Don't love Darren Waller. Not stacked up with anybody. I think I'm going to go to an old Pete favorite, David Montgomery, with the best free agent contract of the offseason for a running back.
You will be lucky to get 1 or 2 ironic votes at the end of this draft. Spags is flying so close to the sun. You're trying to crawl back in the head-to-head battle rankings, and you think you're going to do it by selecting Najee fucking Harris and David Montgomery. You are dusted, Spags.
See, I think here's the thing. I'm drafting teams, Pete, that I like, that I think are good, that makes sense for me. And ultimately, I'm not trying to play the hits for the fans out there. Like, if you guys want to come along and you understand draft value, getting some early wide receivers and you get your running backs, you'll like my team. If you want to just be wowed by the sleight of hand of drafting Brock Purdy, but you've been taking Trey Lance all year long,
I'm going to take a bow. No. The chat, I would like to see a collective round of applause, personal growth, me balancing my heavy Trey Lance bags with the other side of the coin, getting 3 quarterbacks through 8 rounds. That took a lot of courage, and I expect to be applauded for it.
I will not give you applause. And I might only take 2 QBs with this build with Tua and Desmond Ridder, because also there's nobody else a QB I really want. See if Jacoby Brissett comes up later. But besides that, I don't know. Like, I think your team you're at least drafted QBs, and you have not done that enough in the most recent drafts.
I do. So Tyler wanted me to take Dameon Pierce, who I did briefly consider, although I'm feeling a little behind the 8 ball at quarterback, go figure. But I do think David Montgomery over Dameon Pierce is bad.
See, I don't agree with that, because I could still get Singletary late, and Singletary is so cheap in these drafts. And I still think, like, if you get Pierce as a discount, like I actually drafted Pierce this morning because he was 10 picks after ADP, I'll take him there. But I think it shouldn't be that far apart. Like, I would take Singletary almost every time, just because it's a literally 100 pick difference. And I think a new coaching staff brings in their guy. Like, that's the kind of thing you have to be mindful of, just how teams construct things.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Okay, chat supporting me. Love Star saying Montgomery over Pierce. I don't know. Tell me if you guys might agree with Pierce. I guess you could take the young guy, but it's like Singletary's not old either. Like, he's still young relative to NFL years.
I guess where you can sell me on Montgomery is if you are playing like the Lions as like a truly ascending offense. I also think David Montgomery over Swift is bad. I still prefer Swift to Montgomery. Yeah.
I don't see. I think what I am trying to care more about this year, because I had some of these reads and I still kind of kept it agnostic, like where the coaching staff is going with stuff. I do want to be a little more mindful of this year. And they've been very abundantly clear in legitimate quotes to the media about how they don't like Swift. They're like, they don't want to use him as much. They use him a little bit more down the stretch because, there was really no point with Jamal. But like, they paid money to Montgomery when they had Swift still in the stable. I just think Montgomery is, the running back 1 for them. And he's also going to catch passes, which they haven't shown a lot of love for Swift doing overall.
Yeah, I still think, and as Paul says in the AJ in the chat, preferring Swift for best ball. I think for the big play stuff, because the way you get there on Montgomery is Montgomery does what Jamal Williams did last year and falls into the end zone 10 plus times because the offense is humming and he's definitely going to be the goal line back. But if you're getting those league winning spike weeks, I still think they're coming from Swift.
I hate to throw another one out there because we do have our Quentin Johnson versus Addison bet. Montgomery versus Swift, straight up fantasy points, $100.
Yeah.
You want to do it?
Booked.
Okay, here, let's shake on. I know the right way to go to now. All right, done. I think Montgomery is a really nice pick at this point. Like, I would say Montgomery, Rashad Penny. I would put Damian Harris in that group. All guys that I really like just to kind of have in a 0 RB build. Dobbins too, if you can get him aligned right. But it's kind of a different bucket. But I think Montgomery's gonna have a really nice year this year.
All right, I am trying to figure out what I want to do here with this pick. This is like a choose your own adventure spot.
Mm-hmm.
There's running backs I like. There's quarterbacks I could consider. And there's, of course, wide receivers I love. What do I want to do? What do I want?
Take a 4th QB? I mean,
I am considering it. I'm trying to think. I'm like right on the line here. Man, I'm torn. All right, I'm gonna go Piggy and go Zach Charbonnet.
Ooh, I still love Charbonnet. They've seen a little Charbonnet FUD, including I think we had a Football Outsiders article kind of knocking him down a little bit. I'm still very much team Charbonnet, and I would much rather get Charbonnet at his ADP than Abani Konda with him getting steamed up. I know people love him. I just think Charbonnet is a more complete back, and just like a big dude is gonna have a really hard time getting brought down.
The Izzy steam has been nuts. Although he's still sitting around in some of my big board slow drafts, buried with a ADP after 200. But man, is he steamy right now.
All right, so I love Rashad Penny. I'm not going to avoid him here. Don't think I want a 3rd QB, honestly, out of these two. So I'm going to go another young guy who could be better this year. Hopefully, Treylon Burks, come on down.
Yeah, he was my other big consideration there. I mean, Burks just feels so nice.
I like Burks. I don't know that I believe in this offense, for Tennessee being meaningfully different. They didn't change anything that you'd expect him to all of a sudden want to sling the ball, but just a little bit of improvement, him being healthier all year. Like he had some good weeks. It's just, it's going to be him or Okonkwo, and that's basically all you can trust in this offense besides running backs.
Chipsy asking me, where is it worth it to reach on Izzy in these slows? I think I've taken him up at like pick 160. I've now, because I was so heavy on my like A-Chain and Tajay Spears picks in that range, and now I've just been balancing out. Like when I see those guys as the best running backs available ADP wise, I'm like, fuck it, I'll take Izzy. All right. I was considering, so I had three guys I was considering last pick. It was Chardonnay, Traylon Burks, and Mac Jones. And so Mac Jones comes back. I will do the 4 quarterback build. Just the most beautiful looking guys in the league right here. Spags, where's the corollary? So yeah, I haven't done a lot of 4 QB builds, but Mac, almost 2 rounds past ADP. I'll grab that.
Scarf him up, Pete. Sub in quarter here instead of running.
Like you can't use a running back piggy gif when I take in quarterbacks. Get out of here.
Just scarfing up all these mediocre quarterbacks. I don't know. Like, it's funny that you're drafted 4 QBs, and I think I'm locked in it too. Maybe I don't see myself drafting the 3rd here.
Who are your 2 QBs?
Tua and Desmond Ridder.
That's thin for a 2 quarterback build. You know that.
Yeah, one's a rusher, one's a thrower. It works out.
Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, I swear to God, chat, if I lose this vote, based on Spags going with Ridder as his QB2 and just loading up on the most disgusting, vile running backs known to man. I mean, this will be a travesty. I will ask for a recount.
I don't think Najee, David Montgomery, and Rashad Penny are the most disgusting running backs known to humanity. That feels unfair in a variety of ways.
No, I mean, they're literally the scourge of best ball. And anyone who touches them with a 10-foot pole will not be thought kindly in the annals of history.
Chip saying $10 to say Pete's team is better. I mean, I'll read it out loud, but I don't know if I would support it.
I think maybe I should do the narration on the team reviews today. Maybe put me to work.
I feel like that breaks the bit.
Yeah.
Some would say I think the way the bid is right now is perfect and a great way to get the votes to level out. It all works out for everybody.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Might be a little too high on Ridder. I saw that Hayden mocked Richardson to the Falcons, I think, in one of his mock drafts he was doing today, or at least posted on Twitter. I don't think that happens. I don't know. I think the QBs are gone in the first 4 picks. I actually think there's a decent shot. I think it was one of the Sams. I think it was Sam Hoppin who put out like a big board basically that had the odds according to DK, and it was the 4 QBs going in the first 4. I think that's going to happen, and fucking Levis is going to get dragged up just because of somebody wanting a QB, and he doesn't deserve it at all.
He's definitely getting dragged up. Who was it? Was it Mike Renner from PFF is like really high on Levis? I think has him as his QB3 maybe.
I just don't get it. I mean, you look at him like he looks great. Again, another guy, Pete, you could potentially play in the ongoing role. You really could build a full roster of these guys if you wanted to go out of your way for Pete Overzet lookalikes. But I just don't think he's got the talent. Anyway, you're on the clock. Where do you pick him?
I know. I hate this portion of the board. I really do. I'm gonna go reach. I'm gonna take Eli Mitchell. Just to build out my San Francisco bet here. But man, I really hate this portion of the board.
Also, Linus Scrimmage was pointing out earlier, where did that chat go? Taking Connor at ADP. So I heard Leone talking about that in Ship Chasing. It was like, finally, a man coming on here and defending James Conner. And just knowing, too, that bad teams just love to hand the ball off to a running back and clock out the year. I feel like Connor is one of those guys to me that I think you would qualify as gross. Maybe not, after talking about it at some length with Leone. But I feel like Connor is a guy that I'm a little more excited about, even though he fits that Dalvin, Joe Mixon kind of tier of guys that I think the best days are behind him.
Yeah, I have a hard time talking shit about running backs, in the 11th round too, especially one that has a 3-down skill set. When I talk shit about Jamal Williams in that range, it's like he has to run so pure on touchdowns to pay off. But we know if Connor, if they just load him up for one more year, that he could easily smash that ADP, even though I don't like selecting him.
All right, so I'm drafting Michael Thomas here. We all know I love him. I think people would undervalue him, even with the advanced stage. He's still been good when he has been out in the field. And I will take one more player here. don't love Brian Robinson, but I was looking into his college numbers more, and I think maybe last year getting shot might have thrown him off a little bit. So I'm gonna go back to the Brian
Jesus,
Robinson.
Spags.
I mean, I have to say it. Like I was going back to the 2021 college numbers just to see like how everything lined up, and also confirming some priors. Like why I like Tyler Algier was like all there too. So I was kind of reviewing all that stuff. Robinson was really good at Bama in a way that like did not show in the pros last year. So second year jump for running back wouldn't be crazy. So I think Robinson might be a guy that gets slept on a little bit too much, by myself included.
Is it weird that I'm slightly tilted? I didn't get Jacoby Myers to stack. I was debating like who should I take first, Mitchell or Jacoby, and clearly the answer was Jacoby. So rare miss, Pete. Got to stack up Jimmy G.
We're gonna say rare miss.
It is a rare miss. I mean, normally I'm just fucking dialed in, running laps around you, your little piggy drafting.
Okay, if only there were a good GIF.
I love how long it's taking you to find this. Don't worry, I'll take New England's version of Jacoby Myers, Juju Smith-Poopster.
Oh, good news. Bad news, Pete. That's a chunky.
You were gonna, Spags admitted you were gonna use that GIF no matter what. It wasn't actually relevant to my pick. I could have taken anyone, and you were gonna use that.
I actually like Juju because I think he's just gonna have what Jacoby did last year, but maybe be a slightly better version of it. And Jacoby, people forget, did win Pat $2 million. So I think the same role for Juju. I don't hate it. But also better offensive coordinator. Like I think Juju's a little bit undervalued.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You said a couple nice things about my picks. Chardonnay, Juju. You're really coming around on kind of how the chat feels. And that's that I just run circles around you at these.
Yeah, I mean, I when you pick good players, I have to keep it honest. I certainly would love the vote to go my way. Of course, at the end of this video, we will ask you guys to vote. But right now, I'm going to ask you guys to do, if you're watching live, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, leave a comment down below if you're watching after the fact. We're on that march to 2,000 subs. We've been grinding hard on here. The grind will continue. Fantasy football all year round here on Splash Play. We appreciate you guys if you do subscribe to the channel and show some love by hitting the like button. I've actually been crushing the likes. The likes to views ratio, Pete, on this channel, I feel like we're strong on that front. We appreciate the support of everybody.
Yeah. Does the world care about this show? No. But do the people who like this show like to demonstrate that via clicking the like button? Absolutely.
I was watching Rhett and Link. Do you remember Rhett and Link? Like they were internet famous for a while. Like creator guys who did like weird satirical ads around the country and bought like ad time and stuff.
Sounds vaguely familiar, but go on.
So they have like a gigantic YouTube channel, and what they do basically is like a morning show where they just compete in things every day and like rank foods and all this kind of dumb shit. And I was like, this is what Pete and I could do if there were ever like somebody that really said, hey, go crazy, have some fun with it. And I just, watch Rhett and Link would be the other thing. Good Mythical Morning is the YouTube channel.
Yeah. Spags, I mean, one of these days we'll have to meet for our first IRL meetup. There's a couple of my co-hosts over the years that I've never met in person. You, Brick75, Brian Hooper. I'm trying to think of, I've met a lot of my other co-hosts and collaborators. So that's the white whale,
Yeah.
Spags.
I mean, look, we could do like a Pete Summit at this point. All of your hosts come together and have like a shindig.
Yeah. I would love it. And that doesn't seem like a narcissistic idea whatsoever. I think I'd even call it the Pete Summit.
Well, you are like connecting tissue to a lot. Like you could have Swolecast guys there. You're doing enough with Davis now. I guess he would still count as a Swolecast guy, but you have like all these different talents where if you brought it all together, like that would be legitimately an impressive group of people.
Wait, Peta Palooza. Do you think that maybe is a little better, Dave?
The roast of Pete Overzet was an idea we had a couple of years ago, and I still something to hit.
Yeah, exactly.
You should get all the hosts together to help him spread the mulch.
Dude, I'm still spreading this fucking mulch.
I unlike you, Pete, hired somebody to mulch our front garden because Alex wants to plant some flowers. So that was only $175 for that and some leaf cleanup we had to do.
Well, Spags, not all of us are rich in Football Outsiders page views and have to roll up our sleeves and get to work. Some of us aren't rich for Football Outsiders at all.
Not payrolls, but page. 2 payrolls in a row, guys. We're hitting. So there's the good news. I'm on the clock. We got a pick coming up here. You know what? Okay, Jacoby Brissett's here. I'll take him. Don't matter if he's unstacked. Here's my third QB. And I feel like I'm okay at receiver. Clearly a little bit weak at tight end here. No natural stacks are going to be coming up anytime soon.
You and I both raw dog in tight ends. 0.
Yeah. I feel like running back might be the move here. I'm going to take Yeah, I'm going to take Raheem Mostert. I was between Raheem Mostert and Juwan Johnson. So if you want Juwan Johnson, he'll be there for you. And I am pretty much a never Taysom Hill guy. So that's another part of the decision point for me. Here, Bindle's saying Donald Trump, David Montgomery. So there we go. That is, I don't want to unpack what that means, but is David Montgomery going to get indicted somewhere? I hope not, because he's a great running back.
No, this is very. There's good. Hey, there's good people on both sides. Although Bullock and Spags not knowing what this reference is, I think is very poor form on their part. Bindles, next time just Venmo that to me.
Oh, hi, hello, it's me, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I'm here to join the impression party.
Get out of here.
I've been a Republican in the past.
Get out of here.
Oh, I just thought we were going to go back and that impression out of nowhere, really. You're on the clock. Who are you picking?
I know I'm on the clock. I see I have the draft board up in front of me. You don't think I can fucking multitask?
I'm framing it for the audience. They can't be all silly impressions all day here.
Jesus.
Oh boy. No, you know what? You're right. I have missed the last few best ball breakfasts. I am behind. I used to watch every week, but I definitely
this bit is an old bit and a recurring bit. So all of you guys outing yourself as not only just missing an episode, but missing large swaths of episodes. I mean, Jesus.
That's true. And Pete is now buying his ultra right conservative beers as well for a 6-pack for $30.
Breast Ball Breakfast is now sponsored by Bud Light. Also, what was I going to say?
Hopefully another impression. Oh, another thing too. So part of the reason I was thinking to go back to the red blink thing real fast that nobody cares about. They also had a Nana character on and like wearing a dress, and I was like, well, this is just hitting close to home.
Jeez, yeah. I mean, we haven't seen Nana in a while.
Yeah. Oh, here, when's Spags newsletter coming back tomorrow? I just didn't have anything to report last week and was kind of a little bit mentally fatigued at the end of the week, but we're basically still syncing up all the data stuff for Probably. So go to probablyapp.com if you want to get on the wait list and get a weekly newsletter from me about betting markets and probabilities and stuff of games going on the weekend. But it's just like, it sucks because I want to get the product out there. And unfortunately, these tech things, Pete, boy, they take longer than you'd realize than an average Joe.
I just want you guys to know this when you go to vote at the polls here at the end of this draft. Just know that some of us content creators don't just feel lazy with our newsletter and just not send it out because we're feeling mentally fatigued. No, we fucking roll up our sleeves on a Thursday night and we bang out that newsletter for the people. So I just hope you guys remember that kind of work ethic when we go to vote.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, look, I had to write a column for Football Outsiders, so like I can only write one thing a week. I used to write 1,000-word columns a day for Stochastic every day, and now it's like, whoo, that really took it out of me to write those two things.
I know Love Stars just called out the exact thing I was just thinking while ignoring what Spags was saying right there. I will probably, when I have 0 tight ends, I will be just rough it and take Taysom Hill so I don't have to. You fell? No, that was Mr. D's who fell on the Taysom or the Trey Lance. Okay, he takes Higbee. Fuck it, I'm doing it.
Wow.
I think I might have just lost this, and that's really hard to do with a pick 176.
I mean, you can argue that he's certainly not as good of a running back as David Montgomery, so I think that's where I come ahead.
Yeah, I mean, if you put Taysom Hill and David Montgomery's role on the Lions, he'd have 15 touchdowns.
Would Taysom Hill actually be good if you were an all-down running back?
Yeah.
I wonder, because I've done enough Taysom Hill analytics research to look how he's performing per play. I'd be curious. That'd be fun to trot it out. All right, I'm on the clock. Okay, good. Did not take Dameon Pierce earlier. Devin Singletary again here is a really nice value in the big board Superflex. I will swear by that. And then I get one more pick here. Some could say almost a luxury at this point. Do I take a tight end? Are we going to buy Mike Gesicki's renaissance in New England?
Dude, what the fuck? There's no reason for you. God, you are so stupid.
Well, if you think about it, Pete, I have nobody else to stack up a tight end at this point with my QBs.
You're so stupid. Why are you...
I'm drafted for talent at this point. I just need the upside.
This is, just an absolutely awful pick for you in the context of that team.
I think it was an awful pick for you more than it was an awful pick for me.
I'm tilting so hard right now. How do you not, Spags? How do you not take Dalton Kincaid? You love Dalton Kincaid.
I do love Dalton Kincaid. I think he's more of a tight end 2, ideally. But, when you have the pedigree of Mike Gesicki, getting a nice contract from New England, how could you avoid? Oh, I'm sorry. You have Mac Jones? Oh, I didn't even realize. That's tough.
This is what it comes back to, guys, of some of us, there's 2 types of people in this world. There's people who draft really good best ball teams and they stay in their lane and they take what the draft gives them. And then there's other people who draft out of spite, who are constantly looking over at their neighbor, trying to keep up with the Joneses and not really focused on the end goal here, Spags. And I don't know about you, but Underdog doesn't give out badges for sniping your co-host, for getting a little LOL equity on stream. And your entire portfolio is going to suffer for this awful behavior.
I think what they do give away, though, for is Drew Lock guitar gifts.
I love that you have
drafted Mike Gesicki, everybody.
I love that you have a GIF to remind people of one of the worst calls of all time, which was Drew Lock over Geno Smith. And then Geno Smith went on to have just a revelation of a season. Thank you for reminding all of us.
Still directionally accurate. And some could say, again, in the universe where Drew Lock starts, he's the same QB with more rushing upside.
Doubling down on that take.
I stand by it, Pete. I think it's all the football, Pete. At the end of the day, as a guy that's running these Football Outsiders, noted analytics site for 20 years, I would say that a lot of these times, Pete, it's just situations. It's just about getting the guys in the right spot, giving them a chance, believing in them, giving the ball, letting them go. Worked out for Geno, and I think would have worked out for Drew just the same. And Drew, now a happily married man. So, he's got that real world experience you need to be a great QB.
No, I know what you did with that Gesicki pick. You don't even like him. I'm surprised you didn't even try to spout out some bullshit of what if Miami plays New England in week 17 again. I mean, at least you could have hung your hat on that.
See, I was thinking more like, I've got some Miami guys. So let's bring back one of the alums from Miami on the team as well. I've got Mostert, I've got Tua, I got Tyreek, and get Mike Gesicki for the feel-good vibes of all the great times they've had together.
Also, I want to get pissed off at Nate's for taking Tyquan Thornton from me as well. You guys just really don't want me to be able to stack Mac Jones. Well, sucks for you guys because Juju is going to have a 46% target share in that offense this year.
Makes sense. I mean, yeah, he's the slot guy they're paying all the money to, so I could support it. Yeah, I'm glad people are also supporting me and taking your players. I think at the end of the day, that's why stacking these drafts is tough, Pete, because people do not get out of your way.
Yes, Bags, and I expect that from the plebes and the chat rats and the bottom feeders, and the scum. But I don't expect that from you. But maybe I should. Maybe I should start to think of you differently. But when God closes a Tyquan Thornton, he opens up a Mecole Hardman stacked with Aaron Rodgers.
Ooh, it's a good way to recover there. And that's why if you get sniped, just keep drafting your draft, just like Pete did right there. He learned the right way. Will be funny if Hunter Henry outscores Gesicki. There you go. Line of scrimmage pointing out another route you have. Hunter Henry, get him in the 20th round. I
always have lots of outs, Spags. You don't have to worry about me.
Peter, are you maxing the dance? Chip is asking.
I would like to. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to get there. I think I'm going to end up at like 110 or 115.
A little sexy Marvin Mims pick for me coming in here. And then, definitely still need some tight ends. Hayden Hurst or Isaiah Likely?
Likely. Not even close.
Rookies love checking down to a tight end. Hayden Hurst.
I love how I just got you to make the worst pick because you didn't want the pick to come off as if I suggested it and I get credit for it. You love to see it.
No, I'm just not as big on Isaiah Likely as you are. Like, I think this is going to be more of a Mark Andrews statement year. And I still think it's possible they could both have good years. But like Hayden Hurst, I think is just going to be a nice safety valve for Bryce Young, especially if it's Bryce Young.
Love drafting for safety in a giant contest with $100,000 to first place.
I'm not saying that they're a safe play, but they're a safety valve, which means they're going to get targets. Like, I think that's the main thing. And I think there's ceilings for, there's a ceiling for Hurst and there's probably a ceiling for Gesicki if they use him right. I hope. Spags rating the golden rule. Don't snipe. Please like. Okay. I didn't snipe. I would have taken Gesicki anyway. I just needed a tight end who can actually catch some passes.
Yeah. Let's see. What are we going to do here?
Hunter Henry, reach for him.
There likely goes. Hodgins. I should probably start taking some running backs too. I know what my end game is going to be at tight end. Can throw it. I'll let you take the gross pick. I'm gonna do my guy Jerome Ford here.
I have no issue with Jerome Ford. I liked him last
Good.
year.
I actually meant to run it by you before I clicked it just to make sure you had no issue with my pick.
I was taking Jerome Ford, I feel like, on DraftKings a lot last year because he was just always there. And I was like, what if Kareem Hunt gets hurt or something? I don't know. So this year's actually gonna be the case.
I think so. Yeah. What if Jerome Ford is the guy you need?
He's going to get some pass game work because they're using him a lot in the preseason in terms of running routes and stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. Definitely a nice value pick at this point that I would support, even though Pete doesn't want my support. I'll support it all the same.
No, this is an adversarial relationship now. We started out this show working together, building together, and now we're at each other's throats, just fighting for the approval of the chat.
It's true. And that was the thing too. So Paul's saying Cube Spags giving long reasoning for a non-fun pick. I don't think picks don't have to be fun, right? It's about building a team that can win money that you believe in, is it not?
Wow, Spags did there. I almost could, feel the tears coming down your eye as you said a team you believe in.
I just don't think I don't draft on stream and go I got to make a fun team to make it fun. Hopefully the ride is fun regardless. But I draft players that I think are good for the most part.
Did you just say it's more about the journey than the destination?
I suppose one could say that. One could get a wall print of that if they wanted behind them.
Yeah.
I also say live, laugh, love when you watch Splash Play.
Well, here it is, Spags. I'm going to take a boring pick for you coming up here, just as a little hat tip to your Hayden Hurst pick.
Oh, who's it going to be? Hunter Henry?
Honestly, no.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Take another
Honestly, no, Spags. I'll be completely above board with you. I'm not taking Hunter Henry with this pick.
All right. Hopefully he doesn't get scooped from you.
I hope so too. No, I'm selecting.
Would you take any of these QBs at this point, by the way?
I mean, yeah. Well, yeah, I would take Heineke since he's going to be your starting quarterback. You can lock up the Atlanta quarterback for once.
See, if you're going to believe that, then you should believe that Brissett will be the starter for Washington.
I don't actually believe that.
Okay.
I do think it's more likely that Brissett's the starter for Washington than it is Heineke's the starter for Atlanta. So I've gotten boxed out on my Las Vegas stacks at every step of the way. Somehow some sicko took Hunter Renfrow. So it means we are stuck with stacking probably the sexiest, highest upside stack in the entire league, Jimmy Garoppolo to Austin Hooper.
I got to tell you, I'd rather have OJ Howard.
No. Now you can't do the Hayden Hurst over likely thing and then tell me you want Howard over Hooper. Hooper's the same pick as Hayden Hurst.
Howard had a better ceiling last year.
Well, you just said that you don't care about ceiling. You just want some safety. I just wanted some safety.
No, I know. I said I want a safety valve tight end who has a ceiling. That's completely different.
Hayden Hurst does not have a ceiling in the Carolina Panthers offense.
He had a ceiling in Cincinnati. Why wouldn't he have a ceiling if CJ Stroud's his QB?
He didn't have a ceiling in Cincinnati.
Oh, he did. As somebody who drafted him a lot, he almost got me through some teams. He got hurt. That fucking killed some of my Burrow stats.
He fell into the end zone a few times. He did not have a ceiling.
That is incorrect. The Hayden Hurst slander will not be stood for on this show. I'm not going to take Hunter Henry. I'm going to take Darnell Washington here. And
this guy tried to build a case against Isaiah Likely and then taking a fucking blocking rookie tight end who's never gonna catch
he's a great pass catcher as well. One of the I can pull some numbers in a moment once I pick my second player here. Richie James is kind of a nice value at this point. I'll take him. Done.
Should I go for the rare 4 quarterback 4 tight end build?
Yeah, I mean, you already lost this draft anyway. You might as well.
Oh, no. No, we did not.
I got to pull up some Hayden Hurst stats now. Hold on. Okay, Hayden Hurst, great in EPA last year, 0.23 EPA per target. Negative DVOA, though, negative 2%. So he's closer to average in DVOA, but looks good according to EPA.
Didn't hear a word you just said. I am trying to decide what do I want to do here. 4-5-7-3. done at quarterback. Running back, JT, Brees Hall, Charbonnet, Eli Mitchell, Jerome Ford, Justin Jefferson, Debo, Jameson Williams, Juju, Lazard, Dobbs, Hardman. Screw it. We're going to go for the rare build that sounds like it's a challenge at In-N-Out, the 4x4. 4 quarterbacks, 4 tight ends, 5 running backs, 7 wide receivers. I hate it. And it's still better than your team.
Well, guys, if you want to start to get your votes in, I suppose you can. Vote 1 for Spags' team, vote 2 for Pete's team. I will read them aloud once the draft concludes, but let me quickly put the plug in. Of course, one more ask to subscribe to the channel. We're, again, marching towards 2K. We appreciate it a bunch. Subscribe down below. Hit the like button if you're watching live or after the fact, and leave a comment if you're watching after the fact as well. I always make sure to reply and appreciate hearing from you guys afterwards. And, okay. Guys, actually, you shouldn't vote now. You should wait until the teams are read.
No, yeah, no, feel free to,
also, don't vote multiple times. That's how Pete was the one who was really manipulating things last week with vaporware spamming 2s on his behalf, ruining the room.
I mean, this is Spags. I don't use this term loosely, especially when we talk about wide receiver avalanches. It's a triggering word. This is a landslide vote right here, Spags.
Just wait until the reading, guys. Wait until the reading, the ceremonial reading we do here. We need the drafts to conclude. So, Tucker Craft going here at the end. We need the draft to conclude. I only see, and then you can vote. I just don't see how a 4 QB 4 tight end build could possibly be better, but we'll find out.
It really, like, Spags, and I think this is a humbling moment for you. I'm not even that proud of this team. I think it is a little dirty, even by my standards, but it goes to show how bad your team is that I won in a landslide with not even that good of a team.
All right, so let's read my team first. Again, vote 1 for this team in the chat. We have Tua Tagovailoa, team leader in terms of pass rate over expectation last year. Desmond Ridder, running QB with upside. Jacoby Brissett, $10 million deal, could take Sam Howell's starting job. Najee Harris, David Montgomery, Rashad Penny, big signings at running back. Brian Robinson, another year 2 guy on the upswing. Raheem Mostert, a veteran presence in this room. Devin Singletary, undervalued compared to Damian Pierce. Receiver, Tyreek, Devonta Smith, T. Higgins, Christian Watson, Treylon Burks, an all-star team with Michael Thomas, hot rookie Marvin Mims, sexy free agent signing Richie James, and then a tight end. We got Mike Gesicki for the upside, of course. Hayden Hurst also for the upside.
For the upside, of course. And Darnell Washington for the upside, of course.
And Darnell Washington for the upside. And then we go to Pete's team. And on Pete's team, we have Aaron Rodgers at QB. Is he even going to play? Jimmy Garoppolo, overrated. Brock Purdy, Mac Jones. That's rounding out the quarterback room. Jonathan Taylor and Brees Hall. Hope that ACL is okay. Zach Charbonnet, Elijah Mitchell, Jerome Ford. Wow, what a running back room. A receiver, Justin Jefferson. Pete, reports are the Vikings going to draft a first-round receiver. Debo Samuel, Jameson Williams, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Wait. You're trying to fund Justin Jefferson by saying they're going to draft a first-round wide receiver. Go. Anyways, continue.
Alan Lazard. Okay. Romeo Dobbs. Anytime you can get the weaker Packers receiver, you got to do it. Mecole Hardman. And then 4 tight ends, Taysom Hill, Dalton Kincaid, the one good pick on the team, Austin Hooper, Hunter Henry. Vote 2, guys. Vote 2 if you want to vote for that team. And vote 1 if you want to vote for the team that sounded really good.
Spags, everyone already voted. It's all precincts have reported. And they've actually already Spags, everyone's asking for you to do the classic concession. Spags. Oh, interesting. Who is that? Our intern, running the Splash Play YouTube channel here.
So many ones coming up here late.
Yeah. Spags, I think it is time to call and do the concession speech here. I'll look, it's Spag calling here after a hotly contested election here. What's going on, Spags? Did you have something to say to me?
I wish I had a gift for this occasion. Here's my concession speech. We're not fucking leaving.
Okay. Well, we'll see you in court. You trying to tamper with the real results of an election. We now have precedent for how this goes down. And I don't like how it's headed for you.
Well, there's one thing I could say. I'll be back.
Cut the show. Cut it.
All right. Bye, guys. We'll see you again soon. And I'm not ready to end the show. Follow me at Chris Spags. Follow Pete at Peter Overzet. Give the plugs. ADP chasing coming up next too, right?
Yes, it is. Okay. They actually pre-recorded it. And now I need to upload the file here.
All right, so there we go. Again, follow at Splash Play Pod. Will be back next week on Tuesday. Maybe a guest, maybe draft, and we'll find out. Have a good weekend, guys. See you soon. Bye.